We are now beginning the roast of Mayor Fulop. How you guys doing? I want to give it up for Mayor Fulop, who will be seated in his official roasting throne. Thank you so much, Mayor Fulop, for sharing time with us. I can't believe the riskiest thing you could possibly do in Jersey City. But I'm so grateful that you are willing to support the arts, the live comedy performance arts. So without further ado, I want to bring up a very amazing man who actually does live here in Jersey City, and he's been on Jeff Ross's Comedy Central roasts multiple times. Quite a talent and a real honor to have him here. Please welcome to the stage, Scott Chaplin!
Thank you so much, Rich. Give it up for Rich, everybody. Give it up for Mayor Stephen Fulop. Thank you so much. Give it up for the 6th Borough Comedy Festival. My God. Headlined by Kevin Farley, everybody. Kevin Farley. Wow. Who died and made him famous? I believe that was Chris. All right, let's do some warm-up first. I'm gonna have to hold this for a little bit. Clap your hands if you live in New Jersey. Right. Clap your hands if you live in Jersey City. Clap your hands if you voted for Mayor Stephen Fulop. Wow, not only did one person not clap, they gave you a very dirty look. Holy shit. Ooh, okay. Now, okay, so you clapped your hands for Mayor Fulop. Okay, now, clap your hands if you ever shit the bed. Have you ever shit the bed? Okay, yeah. Like around election time. Clap your hands if you ever peed in the pool. Everybody pees in the pool, right? Everybody pees in the pool. I went swimming with Steven. I call him Steve. We're best friends now. And I went swimming. He's like, I gotta pee. I was like, just do it in the pool, you know? Then he got out of the pool and peed into it. That's disgusting, I think. You pee in the pool, not so much in the pool. I got to meet his family's beautiful wife. He's got a kid, he got a son. He called me when he had a son. He's like, I got great news. I was like, I heard, healthy baby. He goes, no, even better. I'm like, what? He goes, my son has the biggest penis in the nursery. And I was like, hell yeah, because that's cool, right? But then I thought about it. That means he looked at every penis in the nursery. It's very gross. Steven, I'm glad you found your way out of the locker you were stuffed in to be here tonight. He really does. He looks like the Kennedy that would get friend-zoned by Marilyn Monroe. He is so... He does have the brains of JFK, though, you know? Post-assassination, obviously. Too soon, apparently. He looks like a teacher who gets bullied by his students. I don't... Like, he's for voters who think Al Gore is too charismatic. That's... like New Jersey, I'm for abortion. You guys for abortion? They call it pro-choice, but it's just for abortion. That's what it is. It's just people get triggered by the word abortion, like some of you right now, and maybe Mayor Fulop. I am pro-abortion. That's why I didn't want to see you make it to second term. I mean, look at you. I didn't know a teacher's pet could be a rescue. I hope you get into the cabinet just so you can have some food. That'd be nice, I guess. He really does remind me of JFK, though, honestly. Doesn't he remind you of JFK a little bit? Airport, no? Uncapped, you know? No, he's, he's nothing like JFK. He's not important enough to be assassinated. We know that already. Seriously, he's too much of a nerd to be assassinated. Even if he had a convertible, he'd have to have the top up because of allergies or something like that. I don't even. He's not like JFK. He's not like JFK. He's not really like any politician I've ever. I mean, look, I don't know anything about politicians, but like, he's no George Washington, right? We can agree. Because George Washington, what was it? He cut down a cherry tree and he said, I cannot tell a lie, right? That's nothing like this guy. Not because of the lie thing, he just doesn't have the upper body strength to cut down a cherry tree, you know? Oh, that was much funnier than you gave it for, but yeah. You look like a motivational speaker with no self-esteem. Like, you look like you're for open borders just so you can get more anime porn. It's like a men's rights activist whose mom made him go on a job interview. That's what it looks like to me. Okay. He's the sitting mayor, and every time I've seen you give a speech, I wish you stayed sitting. How are you so woke when you put every crowd to sleep? Have you? You guys think he's done a great job? Like, sincerely? I'm here. You guys think? It's weird. Like, only in Jersey are you like, gentrification, awesome. It's a bad thing. Where do you think the people that used to live here went? He pushed them into the Hudson. Are you fucking... Don't curse me. He served in the military. I mean, my God, it's amazing. How many years did you serve in the military? You were in Iraq and everything. 4 years in Iraq, in the shit. Amazing. He served in the military. And more recently, helped landlords serve eviction notices to residents who can't afford the growing rent in this town. I can't afford the rent in this town. I live here, but I live with my girlfriend. Otherwise, I couldn't live here. It's a huge bummer. You look like Revenge of the Nerds took place at the Electoral College. That's funny to me, but I also don't know what the Electoral College is. It just sounded good. You look like you write fan fiction about the Mueller report. Some of these I'm like, oh, they might be way too mean, and I don't want him to go, hey, you know what, we're not doing this anymore. That could definitely happen. Doesn't he look like Christopher from The Sopranos, kind of? He looks like Christopher from The Sopranos. If he got whacked, right? Off by a dude in a public restroom. You competed in the Ironman, what is it, the Ironman Championship, right? At what time was it? What did you come in at? It was like 11 hours and 58 minutes, right? 11 hours and 58 minutes for the championship Ironman thing. 11 hours and 58 minutes. You run like the PATH train on a Sunday. That's some shit. You guys ready to get the show started? Are we familiar with what a roast is, how the dance works? Guys, if you want to come out, I'll start talking to them and let them know what this show is about. Take a seat, that'd be really cool. These are all your comments for the night. We're going to introduce them one at a time. Mayor Fulop is absolutely phenomenal for doing this. He asked to sit over there. He didn't want to be too close to us. I get it. It's just so pictures, like he doesn't have to be in them. He could just go, no, I didn't attend. I didn't. So this is the way it's going to work. I'm going to introduce each comic, and then hopefully, if you're willing to, you're going to come up at the end, right? Oh, good for him for coming up at the end. He did not have to do that. He didn't have to do this, let alone really ruin his career. But like, what's the goal, right? President? Who wants that, ever? It's like a moron's job now. I mean, seriously, it's like for absolute, like, idiot. Like, if you want to be the president, you're the dumbest person that you just like getting shit talked? Is that? Okay. Thank Rich for putting this together and everybody else. And we're going to start this right away. Our first comic is Sandeep Sin, okay? It's written Sand Dip. Sand Dip, which is what racists call hummus. So, Sandeep Sin, everybody!
Hey everyone, thank you. How are we doing, Jersey City? Yes. This dais is about worth what Jersey City is. Who are these people? It's a who's who of who. Let's keep it going for Rich Kiamko, who actually organized this event. Thank you, Rich. And Art House, of course. Yes, Art House. I was going to make fun of Rich after that. That's why I introduced him only, but I don't know. Rich actually had us fill out questionnaires for this roast. So we could have some material to go on. And one of the questions was, did you have any pets growing up? And this is true. He said he had gerbils that died in a sump pump. Dude, no one believes they died in a sump pump. I know it happened, the gerbils died, you had to tell your parents something, and you had to go with the lie. We're all wise to the Trump scam, okay? Then there's a Gianmarco Ceresi right next to him. Gianmarco, keep it going for him, everyone. Gianmarco went to musical theater, is not into sports. His first concert was the Spice Girls, and he says he's not gay. I'll tell you what he wants, what he really, really wants, cock. Rich says his biggest weakness is chasing unavailable men. Fast forward 3 hours, you two are gonna be the biggest gay catfight. Scott Champlin, our host, keep it going for him. In the questionnaire, it asked, are you addicted to anything? And he replied, you can't be addicted to weed, but I started smoking it daily a few months ago. Bad news, Scott, you can and you are. Who's your doctor? Woody Harrelson's blog? Talk about a self-serving belief system. Do you think you'd spend too much time playing video games? You can't spend too much time playing video games, and I lost my job for playing video games. Boris Hyken over here. Boris, you are as funny as you are employable. Boris does improv, and The Herald is a form of improv where many different storylines converge at the end. Just like his different careers in acting, improv, and writing are all going to converge in his suicide. We have the guy in pink, Pedro Gonzalez, in the house. What was he calling? Lynn Manuel Labor Miranda. Pedro works as a Spanish interpreter. Way to have a job that you're qualified to do at age 10. It's like having a job trading baseball cards or getting your first period. And there's Gregory Lotzman in the middle there. You're like an alternate universe Jonah Hill if he was fatter and never got famous. Boy, have you really fallen from your prime as the star of Boy Meets World. Gregory wrote that he was uncircumcised. Yeah, we can tell from your head. He says he lives with his girlfriend and one cat. Dude, either you don't have a girlfriend or she doesn't just have one cat. Then there's James Mack right next to him. Keep it over, James. James served in the Army for 15 years. Let's give it up for him. In the Army, James did tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, then was a cop in America. Okay, we get it. You like to shoot minorities. James had a nickel for every brown person he shot. He could live in an all-right neighborhood. James bragged that he has 803 books at home, the Bible, and 802 translations of Mein Kampf. But now let's get the man of the hour, Mayor Fulop, everyone. Isn't it nice they let Eddie Munster get into politics? A lot of praise about Jersey City and how he's turned the city around and how it's growing. Let's be clear. Jersey City's main accomplishment is it's next to New York City. New York is where the action is. Jersey City's next to it. Jersey City is the cuck of cities. And they're like, he turned it around. New York became unaffordable and people moved to Jersey City. It's like if the mayor of the town next to Pompeii patting himself on the back because this town suddenly got more popular. Wow, my policies are really working. I worked in a prison, and sometimes an inmate would plug their toilet and flood the cell block, and everyone would have to move to the next cell block. Jersey City is just the next cell block. I'm not even making fun of the Jersey City. It's like the Jersey people, like, you guys remember the Bridgegate scandal? Where Governor Christie, in order to get back at the mayor of Fort Lee, New Jersey, shut down access to the George Washington Bridge, which connects New Jersey to New York. You know New Jersey sucks when the governor punishes people by forcing them to stay in New Jersey. Even the mayor, he's like, Jersey City added City Bike in 2015, which is great, but your mayor said City Bike was, quote, one of the most exciting things that we've been a part of for the last 2 years. Bicycles. Hey, put the kids to bed, honey, we have bikes. He could have said City Bike is great, but he's like, no, for the past 2 years, this is the most exciting thing to happen. I understand when the electric scooter came, he had an orgasm. Jersey City makes a big deal about being the most diverse city in America. That is not good. Because when Trump starts deporting people, he's coming here first. Jersey City is the black guy in every horror movie. When shit goes down, you know who's gone first. Mayor Fulop worked for Goldman Sachs in Chicago, then Goldman Sachs in New York City, then Goldman Sachs in Jersey, then Sanford C. Bernstein Corporation, an investment management firm. Jersey City, way to elect a man of the people, huh? Real salt of the earth kind of guy. Who's your deputy mayor, the Sultan of Brunei? You basically elected Mr. Burns the prequel. He left Goldman Sachs in 2006. That is fishy timing. Created all those collateralized debt obligations, those ticking time bombs, then he just leaves. He's like the guy who built the engine of the Hindenburg, took another job, and then he's like, wow, that shit really blew up. Ben Fulop got into politics, and he lost his first congressional race by 75 points. 87-12. 84% of Americans believe the earth is round. Citizens in New Jersey were more sure that he should not represent them. And they're sure that the earth is round. Okay, but I'm running out of time. I just want to say thank you, Mayor Fulop, for being a sport and letting us roast you. I don't know much about the mayor going in, but I know after 9/11 he left his job to join the military and serve this country and continuing to serve. And to leave something like that and put yourself in harm's way, that shows real character. And thank you, Mayor.
Sandeep Sin, everybody! My goodness, absolutely phenomenal. Hey, what do you call a redneck with no neck? James Mack, everybody!
All right. Hey, thank y'all for coming out. This should be a lot of fun. As you can tell, Jersey City's real diverse, so they have me and Scott as the comics and the rest of these hack fuckers up here. Yeah, and you can tell we're all, with the exception of Rich and Pedro, we're all different, just shades of white, so we try. So, thank you, John Margo, for having a tan. You make it different. So, Scott, you look like the reanimated corpse of George Michael. Good job. It worked better last night when you were wearing the jean jackets. Rich, it's Pride Month, and proud is something you never heard from your dad. So. Sandeep, I know you tell jokes about your dad smacking you, but unlike Michael Jackson, you didn't become successful. So, these are jokes, people. Where'd Pedro go? All right. Well, the guy on the end wearing the pink shirt. All right, I'll come back to him straight. John Marco is Italian and Jewish, so when he muscles in on you, he'll haggle for what you pay for protection. Gregory, thank you for taking time from your TED Talk about lactose intolerance to be here. And Boris, the way you're dressed, you look like you blow homeless guys for financial advice. All right, on to the mayor. So, I know you're a Marine, so I'll speak slowly. No, you know the last politician that got roasted became president, so I hope you're rolling in Cheetos later. So, your mayor actually used to be in a cult. He calls it the Marines, but we all know once a Marine, you'll never read again. So, yeah. Steve's responsible for Jersey City having the most diverse police department. Yeah, they have red, white, and black police cars to arrest the minorities. So. The city spent $6 million on 13 parks and 1 new parking spot. So, really stretched that one out, didn't you, man? The problem with the traffic is not Uber, it's you gotta add new lines, so you're fine. Steve was at one time rumored to be running for governor against Chris Christie, and I can understand why you didn't do it. I wouldn't run against somebody I couldn't be on the same TV screen with at the same time either. So Steve won his first mayoral election by a small majority, so I'm sure you're glad there's not an electoral college in Jersey City. So. Political joke show. Follow me. So Steve and I are both veterans of Iraq. Matter of fact, I found out we were both there at the same time. And I was there as an Army paratrooper with 82nd Airborne, and he was there as player 1 in Call of Duty. So, I actually learned earlier that, so just like, you know, when he joined the Marines, he wanted to keep the Jersey tradition going, so he decided to pump fuel in Iraq as well. So, great Marine Corps training. You can work at any Exxon after you get out. So. Yeah, so like Sandeep was saying, is your margin of loss was 87-12. So I always wonder, you know, did you go to Columbia or play for Rutgers football team? Yeah. Oh, Pedro's back. So before I finish up with you, let me get Pedro's joke in now. So, Pedro's Colombian and always looks nervous, so still constipated from the last balloon that hasn't come out yet. There we go. All right. So no, on a more serious note, like I do have a lot of respect for you. Like I said, you've shown that you stand for your values with the votes that you've done, that I could find online, anyways. And, but to join, I was already in the military when September 11th happened, but he joined after being in Lower Manhattan and seeing the attacks on the Trade Center. And truly salute you for that. Not saying you're the most sane person for that, but you know, but thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for allowing us to be here, and thank you for what you do for the city.
James Mack, everybody! This next comic, he looks like the teddy bear he sleeps with. He's the most adorable adult man I've ever seen. I want to snuggle with him. I want to like put phrases in his stomach that he can say, you know, like from my girlfriend. Looks like a teddy bear, and he's Jewish. I call him Winnie the Jew. Give it up for Gregory Lotzman, everybody!
Pedro, when Pedro was a boy, he was upset because his dad used to buy him ugly clothes. Now Pedro is an adult man and he buys his own ugly clothes. Well done, Pedro. Boris, moving on to our Ukrainian Jew from the 18th century. Boris Kaikin. Nobody asked how you got your family name. Gianmarco Soresi looks like a low-key sleazeball. He looks like the kind of guy who will try to get into a girl's pants by telling her he's really supportive of the Me Too movement. Oh man. James Mack, call him James Mac and Cheese, was asked to leave Texas because he got too heavy for the horses. Sandeep Sen, hope you can see him, this is important. People actually talk to Sandeep over video. He's a video psychiatrist, which is essentially a cam girl who gets subscriptions for her personality. Rich, you have a terrifying smile. Rich always looks like he just did something to your toothbrush. Scott Chaplin. Scott was roasted enough by life, so I'm going to leave Scott alone. Now on to the guest of the hour, Mayor Fulop. Thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to let you know that I was actually sent here by the Jewish Council. We're supposed to run things behind the scenes, not get elected fucking mayor. So now when neo-Nazis are like, the Jews are in control, like they can use you as proof. So if there's any reporters here, the tagline should just be, Mayor Fulop supports neo-Nazis. Soundbite. And by the by, since I'm here, it's Saturday and you drove here. Sabbath. So the mayor and I, we've been great friends for the last 20 minutes or so, since we both agreed to this to further our careers, and both currently deeply regret being here. I remember watching your inauguration speech when you said, I think it was, so many mafias to thank, so little time. He did ask me to remind everybody on the dais that he can have them killed, so watch out. As Sandy mentioned, your wonderful story of a self-starter success. To see somebody go from high finance into government is truly heartwarming. It's just an inspirational story that really represents America, I think. And I too would like to thank you for your service at Goldman Sachs. You made a lot of money. I know Mayor Fulop is a bit of a celebrity in small circles, which is to say not very famous. I honestly thought that this was going to be much bluer roast, so if you'll please forgive me my next joke, I do still insist on doing it. All right, you guys ready? You guys ready for this? Yeah. Mayor Fulop's penis tastes so bad. How about a shower, guy? He doesn't shower, you get it? It's dirty. You know what? I think I want to end on that high note. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here.
How about a shower, guy? I think you got a catchphrase, Greg. I'm enjoying myself. So you guys enjoying yourselves? This is going really well. A lot of fun. Thank you again. Honestly, I think I'm having so much fun. I'm gonna say, screw it. The money I make tonight, I'm gonna donate it. I'm gonna donate it for sure. Yeah, I think so. Not donate like I don't know if donates. I'm gonna pay my parking tickets for this. I'm gonna finally pay my parking tickets. You guys got parking tickets here? Holy shit! What is? Are we gonna get more streets? Are we gonna get parking? Or are we just gonna keep painting the roads the color it costs to make them? I don't understand. We got green roads, baby. Who's next? Oh, Kiken. What a beard. Talking about his wife. He introduced me to his wife before. It means he's gay. It's like a phrase that I wouldn't know about because I'm not that. But ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Boris Keiken, everybody.
Lord, guys, give it up for Scott Chaplain hosting this thing. Scott's a fan of professional wrestling, which is soap operas for people who don't use soap, if you're not familiar. It's a good dais. What do we got? We got James Mack. James looks like he tells strippers about his problems. You look like you go door to door to tell the neighbors about your favorite Joe Rogan podcast episode. We got Pedro Gonzalez. Pedro's Colombian. Colombia suffers from massive deforestation, and there's no greater evidence of that than Pedro's hairline. Gianmarco. Gianmarco once broke his pinky bowling, but you guys already knew that. Gregory, you look like you'd hang yourself if you could afford high ceilings. Sandeep moved here from Chicago. He's from Chicago, but he felt he belonged in New York because his dick has a thin crust. Rich Kiamko organized this whole thing. Crazy bio. Rich came out as gay on a television show. He came out as having Lyme disease on a magazine cover, and he's going to come out as unfunny on stage for y'all later tonight. All right, the man of the hour, Stephen Fulop. First of all, parking here was a bitch. I saw a spot wide open. I turn around for a second, and it's a city bike station. Yesterday, I took the train in. You promised to bring change to Jersey City, which is good because 15 guys asked me for it when I got off the path. I really want to put on a good show for all the hardworking citizens that voted you into office, but they've all been priced out into Bayonne, so I'm going to try to do a show there later. Steven's dad owned a deli growing up, which is why he's so full of baloney. Oh, good, you guys actually like that. No, politics is a dirty game, but Mayor Fulop almost seems too clean. He seems like the kind of guy that keeps his boat shoes on during sex. Stephen went to Solomon Schechter, the school for nerdy Jews who get picked on by slightly less nerdy Jews. After college, Stephen worked at Goldman Sachs and then fought in Iraq. So he's helped ruin the economies of 2 countries. After he returned from Iraq, he went back to work at Goldman Sachs. If you wanted to finish a job, you should just stayed in Iraq. All right, real political. Stephen Fulop's plan to reduce traffic emissions in Jersey City is to make it so drive-by shootings are all done on city bikes. He eliminated plastic bags, that's coming up, but also raised the minimum wage. So, you know, maybe grocery baggers will get laid off, but at least they'll live in cardboard boxes. He's big on diversity. Steve's programs for minority and women-owned businesses ensure that one day, everyone, regardless of their race, gender, or creed, will have the same opportunity to bribe him. Mayor Fulop's website claims that he invested in a prison re-entry program, but what he fails to mention is he's talking about his butthole. All right, you know what it is when he was single, there were a lot of rumors that he might be gay, but let's face it, no gay mayor would approve of something as ugly and unimaginative as One Journal Square, right? It looks like a 5-year-old's first skyscraper drawing. the only blueprints of the city planners that were done in crayon on construction day. Mayor Fulop painted Newark Ave green, so it's harder to see all the vomit at night. Mayor Fulop is committed to diversity. That's why he makes sure that the development tax breaks are given to both Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jews. Oh, drop the mic on that one. Okay, here's one. Stephen is working part-time at Wonder Bagel. As in, I wonder what the best use of a mayor's time is. Maybe next you can work at the Path at 9 a.m. on Mondays. It's got everything Wonder Bagel has. Overcrowding and sexual assault allegations. It's true. I don't know if you guys read about it, but there's some allegations against Wonder Bagel. But to be fair, as soon as he heard about it, Mayor Fulop stood up and asked to work overtime. I kid, of course. He's a very nice guy. In fact, I'd say Fulop is the opposite of Donald Trump. Because you can't grab women by the pussy if you're not sure where the pussy is. All right, that's it for me. Thank you so much, Mayor Fulop, for letting us do this.
Unbelievable! Give it up for Boris Keiken, everybody. This next comic. Woo! He is very fit. Can I say that? Do we agree? Very fit. Swimmer's body, yeah? He definitely has a swimmer's body. Buried in his basement. Gianmarco Ceresi, everybody.
You think I can afford a basement? Let's start here. Pedro and I, we've known each other a long time. Last night we did a show. I met his girlfriend and his cousin. Unfortunately, they're the same person. Pedro looks like he shouts "goal" whenever a teenage boy texts him back. Rich, we're both theater people. Rich actually starred in his high school production of Rent as one of the AIDS needles. Rich's mom is a doctor, and she's always setting him up with her patients, which sounds cute, but she's a pediatrician. Scott's father unfortunately passed away, but he's still here the way he was at all of Scott's shows, in spirit. Boris, the first vegan school shooter. This is a real fact. Boris proposed to his fiancée at Costco because his fiancée only comes in bulk. Greg, actually, he's an actor as well. You may recognize him as Guy watching his wife get fucked. James Mack, he is the brawny man for cum towels. And then Sandeep, good friend Sandeep. What can I say to Sandeep that no one's ever said to him before? I love you. He's a psychiatrist, and his style and bedside manner are heavily influenced by his mentor, Dr. Huxtable. On to you, Stephen. Does this count as a charity event? That's my impression of Stephen's wife before she fucks him. Researching you is like doing a history project on someone who doesn't matter. You look like the Keebler Elves accountant. You're a big environmentalist. His haircut is actually recycled from a high school band teacher. The only reason you hate climate change is because your sinuses can't take it. You're like the spokesman for antihistamines. Stephen helped enact the plastic bag ban in Jersey City, which is ironic because apparently people call you the Baghdad because you never shut up about your time in Iraq. Oh, Stephen, you sleepy weasel. I can't wait to unfollow you on Instagram. Here's my impression of Steven's Instagram. Jersey City is a multicultural paradise. Look at my hot blonde wife. The only thing multicultural about your family is the men your wife sleeps with. But she did tell me, she told me that you keep kosher. Apparently you never eat her clam. Steven said it smells gefilte fishy. Mixing the meat and dairy is what Steven calls it when he swallows. Oh boy, it gets worse the further we get. Steven's wife is a physical therapist and trainer, and she's amazing. I mean, she trained him to like women. She's incredible. I saw the first son. Clap it up for their son. That's incredible. She had your son, and then I saw months later she was throwing axes at the axe range, or as I like to describe it, a very irresponsible circumcision. Steven has chosen, I think it's good, Steven decided to vaccinate his son just to make sure they're both autistic. Guys, I forgot there's supposed to be a nice part at the end, so thank you for being a good sport. I truly thought this would be a disaster, and I was right. Guys, thank you.
Give it up for Gianmarco, everybody. That's how it's done. We're getting down to the wire. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. You enjoying yourselves still? Great. This next comic, he helped put this all together, so maybe start clapping now, maybe, I don't know. He's gay. In fact, you just stop clapping, that'd be fun. He's gay and Asian, which gives a whole new meaning to wax on, wax off. Give it for Rich Kiamko, everybody.
Good for your host, Scott Chaplin. For a moment, I had sort of George Michael flashbacks when I looked at him, and then I realized he's more like one of the cops that he entrapped with in a public bathroom with George Michael. Okay, relax. Some people aren't even alive then. Sorry, this is for kids. Let's see, I will go through my list. Sandeep, well, if you actually look, it does look like we're at a political roast. He does look like the Indian version of Chuck Schumer. But he's a psychiatrist, so he can claim that it's a prescription, not a roofie to his clients. Boris definitely looks like a barista in a homeless shelter. James, I love this outfit, the slacks and the plaid. It's sort of like an updated mullet. It's like business on the bottom, racism on the top. Doesn't believe Black Lives Matter, right? Okay. Gregory Lotzman, reminds me, your overall look reminds me of a 70s Hanna-Barbera cartoon bear, but instead of a Jufro, it's an adult on-site diabetes 2-fro. That was for the Filipino doctors in the room. Okay, see, Gianmarco, oh no, I'll do Pedro. Pedro is actually a really astute comic, very sharp. He's the kind of guy, he looks like the Latino who will school you on racial stereotypes while getting into your car at Home Depot for day work. Okay, just go to 440. You'll see him in his pink t-shirt. Okay, Gianmarco looks like the tall white version of Urkel and Liza Minnelli. He's already doing a double Fosse cross with his arms. Oh my God. You're so gay, I feel homophobic. I'm not saying that he's gay, but his story that I'm straight is trying to fuck me. Okay, let's see. Is that it? Did I get everyone? Okay. Wow. I feel really weird. I feel a little comfortable roasting Mayor Fulop because you are like a friend of me, but more of a friend. I did do a comedy fundraiser for your first mayoral run in 2012, which was an honor, and this just feels really awkward. I feel like I'm basically shooting my own young. Because he is actually younger than I am. It's so weird. Okay, here it goes. I'm still gonna love you after I do this. Here it goes. I love that you said he has all these mafia connections, but Steve can't really have you killed, but he can definitely kill your street into a pedestrian plaza. And then people were thinking, you know, there's this whole thing about Stephen being gay, which is not true. Actually, you know, I don't know, how many of you saw his political ads when he first ran? They were amazing. There was like him, you know, there's photos of him as a Marine, there's photos of him swimming across the Hudson, there's photos of him on the cover of Jersey News in like workout gear with barbells. Like I wasn't sure if it was his election campaign or his Grindr profile. I'll have to translate for some people that don't know. Grindr is an app on your iPhone or on his iPhone that that's for guys who want to hook up with other guys. It's like a GPS for sodomy. Or for the younger people, it's like Pokemon Blow. So I want to stay hip and relevant, even though I'm 80. Okay. But it's weird because it's like you put it on and it basically goes, this guy's 2 feet to your right, he wants you to bang your arm. This guy's 2 feet to your left, he wants you to bang your arm. This guy's already inside of you, put the phone down and take it. And people, I love it when straight guys are like, dude, we've got Tinder, it's the same thing. I'm like, no, on Tinder, you can see each other's faces. Because Grindr is just, there's kids here. So Grindr is just front door, back door, front door, Mike Pence. Front door, back door, Gianmarco Soresi, and Pedro. That was so cheap, I love it. But Stephen actually officiated the first same-sex marriage in New Jersey, and it was me. With my, so at 12:01, we were the first same-sex couple to be legally married, and last year, we were the first same-sex couple to be legally divorced. That is full equality. You haven't experienced full equality, and so, well, the sad part is it took 3 straight lawyers to teach 2 gay men how to really screw each other. Okay, relax. It wasn't as bad as one of those tax abatements, you know? It's like, you know, good for 14 years, and then it just falls apart, and then the colored people have to leave, and the white person keeps the home. I'm sorry, this is my therapy now. This is not your roast. Let's go back. Let's see what else is here. I think it's, you know, but Stephen, you were the first local candidate to really advocate proactively for gay or LGBT rights, which I really appreciate. And I went down to Trenton, and I remember going down there, like, you know, fighting for marriage. I just wanted marriage equality. I said, you know, we are just like straight people. And then I was here in Jersey City in divorce court, and I'm like, fuck, we're just like straight people. Okay, let's see. Well, you know, people were wondering if he was gay, and I'm like, no, because when we were actually, after we were married at midnight, at 7 a.m., we all did Good Day New York, and we're being interviewed about being the first couple. And when they turned to Steve, he was nervous, and I really appreciate you doing this. But he was nervous and got confused, and instead of saying the LGBT community, he said the BLT community. And I said, we're people, not a sandwich. And then it was like AFL-CIO, I'm like, no, we're not iron workers, that's a fetish. Keep going. It's almost over. No, okay. Okay, so I'll wrap with this. And Stephen, I really appreciate the service you've done abroad and here. You know, when you first look up Stephen Fulop, you see he was a Marine. You see he served in Afghanistan. He also was an Ironman triathlon. He swam across Afghanistan, Iraq. Sorry, my English not so good. So sorry. I just profiled myself with a different accent, not even a Filipino accent. But people in Jersey City just saw that. Thank you, thank you. But he served in Iraq, and he swam across the Hudson. When you first hear that, you're expecting to meet The Rock. But instead, you meet this nerdy top. I mean, I'm kidding, total bottom. But, anyway, thank you so much for your service, Steve. We love him. I love him. Thank you.
Rich Bianco, everybody! And now, our final roaster before the mayor ruins his career. Our last roaster, he's actually one of my absolute favorites to watch. He has the same last name as Speedy Gonzalez, but the only thing faster in his family is his mother. Well, guys, I had sex with his mom. I'm not... Okay. Get it for Pedro Gonzalez, everybody.
Thank you. Beautiful Jersey City, the most diverse city in the country. We have white people in the audience, black guy working security, a lot of diversity. Give it up for Scott. His dad was a police officer. He died while in service, but at least he died doing what he loved, you know? In a shootout with black people. Rich Giamco, he's the organizer of this. He's also a survivor of Lyme disease because he wasn't cute enough to get AIDS. Gianmarco Soresi got booked here because we needed some feminine energy on the days. Gianmarco, you look like you borrowed those pants from your twink boyfriend. Boris is from Ukraine. He was circumcised at age 7 in Ukraine, not because of religious reasons, but because his family ran out of things to make soup with. Greg, what insult can I come up with about you that would be worse than what God did to your face? You have the body of a fat baby and the sex appeal of a fat baby. You're hard to look at. We should make it quick. We should finish this quickly so that James can go back to tasering minorities. This guy, his parents didn't know what to name him when he was born, but they didn't speak English. He thought the doctor was giving them a name, but he was saying your son is deeply autistic. Here's the mayor. Give it up for him. Very nice guy. Stanford educated, better at everything, and he still manages to, you know, dress like a regular undercover cop. Very humble, very humble. He started recently working at part-time at Wonder Bagels because obviously there is nothing he loves more than taking a job from a Mexican. Really good. Also, he works for free and he's agreed to donate his tips to animal welfare because fuck the homeless, right? I didn't know you before. I didn't know who I was roasting. I was just given a picture and the word Fulop. I don't know what to say. I just thought I was roasting a trans person after they're Fulop. You know what I mean? I was confused. Besides being a war veteran, he's also an environmentalist. You just banned the use of plastic. In Jersey City, he knows that plastic, he was in Iraq, you know, he knows that plastic is more effective for daily activities, you know, like shopping for groceries or waterboarding Muslims. All stuff. Okay, Mayor Fulop, you have a very hot wife. I saw a video of his wife throwing axes on Instagram, and it made me wish I could bury my face in a hatchet wood. Yeah, well, you know, you have to say them. Maybe they work, maybe they don't work. I also saw a picture of you at the Pride Parade. I think it's very inspiring for young people because it's proof that you can come out and support gay people even if you haven't come out yourself. You know what I mean? Well, that's the end of it. Thank you guys.
I got you, Pedro Gonzalez, everybody. Give it up for every roaster on the dais, and now it is gonna get weird. He's the man of the hour. He's the mayor of Jersey City. He's been awarded countless grants, countless awards in his short term as mayor. His office is filled with trophies. I knew he liked trophies the first time I saw a picture of his wife. Give it up for Mayor Stephen Phillips, everybody. Oh.
let me start by saying, if you're wondering how I was able to get through these jokes tonight, that part was easy. I thought they were actually going to be funny, and I was waiting, it never happened. So in any event, let me start by saying it's always great to be at an art house production event. Let's give it up for Art House. You guys love Art House. And we should clap again. Congratulations for relocating for the 48th time, Meredith. Thank you. For those of you that don't know this arts group called Art House Production, it's adopted many, many unique spaces over the couple of years that they've been in existence here in Jersey City with the same outcome. They were in a 1930s auditorium, they got thrown out. They were in a converted 50-year-old hospital, they got thrown out. They were in the ground floor of an office building, they got thrown out. And finally now, cast iron lofts. So Meredith, let me get your decision-making straight. A grassroots theater company that's been thrown out of every place they've ever been, that still fails to raise money, decided to relocate in the first floor of a high-rise luxury building. How dumb can you be? Good luck. Good luck, Art House. For those of you that don't know Meredith over there, she's the executive director of Art House Productions. Let's give it up for Meredith. Based on my back of the envelope calculation, Art House has been in existence for about 10 plus years, and she's been here for a little bit more than 1 year. She's been the longest serving executive director. Let's give it up for Meredith. It's highly unlikely you'll be here next year. Let's give it up for Meredith as well. I mean, all joking aside, your dad, my understanding, retired and he worked for Hudson County Emergency Management. Is that correct, Meredith? All right, okay. You would have thought he would have given you advice to stay clear of an organization that's been a bigger disaster than Hurricane Sandy. But, hey, anyway, happy Father's Day to him. Anyway, Meredith, I didn't realize how much help I saw David Gibson. How many of you know David Gibson? He's the board chairman here. Let's give it up for David Gibson. I saw him earlier today in Journal Square with a small canister raising money for Art House Productions outside the Lowe's Theater. Enough about Art House. You know, earlier today I was thinking about my plans for tonight, and I was saying to myself that you really know your career is not moving in a good direction when you find yourself on a Saturday night in front of a crowd that has less people than most city council meetings. Thank you for coming out tonight. I knew that joke would be a disaster. Thank you, Pat Byrne, for writing that one. Anyway, in my short career, I've been to a lot of extremes. They touched on some of this stuff. I swam the Hudson, I was in Iraq, I scaled the skyscraper, do some triathlons. But if you told me 10 years ago that one day a group of unknown comedians would be roasting me as mayor of Jersey City at 6 p.m. on a Saturday inside a mall, I would have said that I would have been better off devoting my life to time travel and it would have been more productive. So thank you all for showing up today. On a serious note, it's an honor to be roasted tonight by a group of comedians who will never make it. Let's give it up for them. So here we are. Rich Kiamko assembles a group of C-list comedians from New York City to roast the mayor on a Saturday night. Very, very nice. Let's give it up again for Rich Kiamko, please. I bet you all didn't know. I've seen several of these comedians in New York City actually a couple weeks ago in person, but technically they weren't performing. They were waiting on tables at TJF in Times Square. Thank you. But as bad as my Saturday night plans are this weekend, look at these comedians who came across the river, and I heard they weren't even paid. They just volunteered to be here, and just like their day job, they work for tips. As I touched on earlier, David Gibson's out in front with his canister, so feel free to take a couple dollars. Let's give it up for Scott Chaplin, the host. My email blast promoting this made it seem like our host works at Comedy Central. I intentionally was vague on what he does there because I figured I would stretch the truth a little to get people here. Thank you for showing up tonight. The reality is Scott is roasting me tonight in exchange for a letter of recommendation to work in our incinerator authority, and he doesn't know he's not qualified. You just do a Google search of Scott and a lot of things come up. Let's just say there's a lot to do with animals. We won't get more into that than anything else. And to James here, let me touch on James here. Let me just say it's an honor to be roasted by not only an unknown comedian, but a grown man in his late 30s who's still holding on to the dream that one day he might be discovered. Let's give it up for James. I'm going to give James some personal career advice. It's never going to happen, James, okay? Truth be told, James, I'm really proud of the work you did here tonight and to listen to your new material. The last 3 times I saw you, your opening line was, "Would you like me to tell you about the specials that aren't on the menu tonight?" Let's give it up for Rich Chiamco down there again, co-organizer of the festival. To run a festival like this, you require skill and precision. He must have been born lucky because he has neither skill or precision, but he did touch on that we have a bond. I actually married Rich and David Gibson the night marriage equality passed in New Jersey, and they were separated a short time after, and I just kept thinking to myself that you guys criticize politicians for doing anything for a photo op, and here he is. For anyone that knows me, this clearly is not the highlight of my weekend. Tomorrow's my first Father's Day. So that's a cue to clap, come on. All right. It's no joke that I couldn't be prouder to be one of Jersey City's newest dads, and I'll say that so you clap again, come on, please. People ask me which is harder, being the mayor of a mid-sized city or the father of a newborn. It makes me take a really hard look. One is met with sleepless nights and infinite trash bags filled with shit, and the other is being a dad. Pat Byrne, another dad joke for you. Thank you very much. Before I closed it out, I noticed my good friend Chick B is a sponsor tonight. So let's give it up for Chick B. You know, it speaks volumes about the state of journalism that in just 5 short years of her existence, a blog that reads like it was written by a 10-year-old is a reliable news source in Jersey City. Congratulations, Chick B. Relax. Chick B can take a joke. I would say she's thick-skinned, but that's probably just the 50-plus layers of bronzer she put on this morning. I want to thank you all for roasting me tonight. Really appreciate all of you coming out. I want to say it was an honor, but when I took the oath of office, I made a promise I wouldn't lie. So why start now? Anyway, on that note, good night. Thank you for coming out. Have a great day.
Well, he's keeping the mic, so. Give it up for Mayor Stephen Fulop, everybody. What a great job. Give it up for all the comments you see tonight, and give it up for yourselves. Thank you so much. Come back next year. I'm sure we'll roast somebody else. Thank you.